Hey, come here. Have you heard this? Accurascale is offering lifetime warranty on all their models, but not just new ones or ones that have pre-ordered, ones that have been kicking about in your cupboards for the past 6 months to 3 years. They're also under a lifetime warranty now as well. Any motors go pop, bang, whiz or plop, you're covered under their new warranty. Or so you think. Let's have a quick chat about that, shall we? Well, we're also going to be doing some stuff with the N-gauge layout, looking at installing some nice surface mount point motors from DCC Concepts. Cobalt SS, let's crack on. Right then, so last week we did some updates on the N-gauge layout, which is here, and you saw that I picked up a multi-pack of the Cobalt SS point motors. The eagle-eyed amongst you will have noticed these are surface mount point motors. Previously, I've used the ep80s under layout, the one that poke up through a hole in the middle to operate points. Now, me being the exuberant youth that I am, I got very giddy, very carried away, and I put my foam, which I've never used foam before, on the baseboard, because I want to dig it out and what have you. And I laid all my points down and everything else. But what I neglected to do was drill holes for the point motors to poke through. So there we are. So I was left with two choices: lift all the track up again, all the wiring and mess about, or use surface mounted point motors. Now, the thing with surface mounted point motors is you have to hide them and everything else, and it's just everything. But what I will say is this: they've actually saved me a lot of hassle and a lot of headache and a lot of time. And the Cobalts are so small that you can hide them under a bush if you wanted to. You know, it's not the end of the world having them on your thing. And you can even distance mount them as well, so you can have them away from the point itself and hidden under a house or a building or some other scenic piece of interest, a little bit away from the actual point itself. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to walk you through how I did it. There's a massive page of instructions and everything else. I looked at that and went, wow, that's a lot of reading. So I skimmed through it a little bit, but honestly, it's so simple to figure out. I managed to do it as well. So this is why I'm using the surface mounted point motors. So I'm going to show you how to set them up, a few things that I learned on the way to make it a bit easier. Let's get cracked on. So I should just point out that I didn't actually purchase these. DCC Concepts were good enough to actually give me these to play about with and what have you. I went to them and said, look, I'm stuck. I've not planned this out at all, help me. And they said, take these, use them, make use of them, they work really well. So, thanks DCC Concepts. So, in the box, this is a 12 pack. You get 6 of these control boards, and you get 12 point motors as well. They're pretty good because each of these control boards can have 2 independent motors connected to them, one at each side, or you can have 2 motors on this side and 2 motors on that side. But they'll both react to the same address. So essentially you address that bit or you address that bit. So if you address this bit 101 and that bit 102, any points connected to any point motors connected to this side will throw when you hit 102, and that would do when you hit 101. You can have them throw different ways though, so you can reverse it and what have you, because you get quite a lot of wires and adapters and things in the box, so that's good, which is good for me. And you also get a massive selection of these little clips here for helping you get them the right height, so depending how high your track is from where your baseboard is and what have you. I just use the green ones because I have not got any track bed as such, just sleepers, and they seem to work pretty well. A handy feature with these is you can actually set them up on top of your baseboard. You don't need to crawl around underneath your baseboard trying to get things set up. You can just do what I've done here. So I've got one unit set up as my, for now, this is my, for lack of a better word, setup unit. So all I've done is I've extended, by use of the included wires, the reach of this. So what I can do is get my point motors here, put them in place on the baseboard, set them up locally, plug them in, and then I can do what needs to be done with the electricity. Now, one thing I will say to you is if you look at the point motors themselves, you've got a little brass, for lack of a better word, fulcrum fixture, whatever. I'm just going to point that out to you there. So you see that there, don't you? That brass thing there. What happens with that is that's where you put those little clips which go into the actual point throw bars themselves. When you get them, they will all be at different positions. So what I recommend doing is plugging them in to your point motor up to the control board first. So just quite simply like that, plug it in, get your controller. There we go. So it's powered up now. And all I'm going to do is I've got this one set to address 101. So you'll notice that when I throw it, if you look at that little brass collet, it moves, but it's moved all the way back and all the way forward. Now the problem with that is it might not work with your point motor. So there's a little button on the back of here called reset. In fact, I'll just show you on one that I've not got hooked up to the layout. Little button there. Each side's got its own reset button, and all you do is press and hold it for about 3 seconds. So you got 1, 2, 3, and it resets it. There you go. So it brings it all the way to the top and then down a little bit. This now means this point motor is at absolute zero. So when you put it in place, you know that when you throw it, it's going to work properly. Now you can actually adjust how much throw pressure there is as well on this. So when you attach it to a point motor, so when you attach a point motor to the point, this will, you tell it to throw, like on here, so you press your throw button and it'll move. See there, look? But that might not move far enough, or it might move too far, and you get like this grinding noise, because what's happened is the switch rail has hit the stock rail and it's still trying to push against it. It doesn't really need to. Yes, you need a bit of contact, but too much of it and it's not going to work. So what you can do, there's a little screw terminal here, and you've got high and low, and you can adjust that left and right. And what it will do, the LEDs will change depending on how much you've got it. And what I didn't know is, I thought you only had one setting, like it was small, medium, large, extra large. But actually it does increments as well. So you can turn it a little bit and it will actually increase it a little bit. Even though the medium LED will stay lit up, for example, it still increased the throw a little bit. So you can just mess about with it. But because you can do all this above the baseboard with the control unit out in the open, so to speak, it's really easy to set it up. I set up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 point motors last night in 20 minutes. Simple as that, easy as pie. And what I'm going to do now is show you how to install this one. So first things first, what we'll do is we'll just reset it back to absolute zero again. So we know we're starting from a level playing field. There we are. And that is now back to absolute zero. I'm going to get this installed now and I'm going to show you what to do. Alright, so we're going to use this point here. So as you can see, the point clip is still in place. Realistically, these point motors are powerful, but they ain't that powerful, and they will, realistically, we're going to need to take that point clip out. If you're using an IP digital, they're so powerful, they'll just overpower that clip. But these little babies, they just want an easy ride. So all we're going to do, we've got this at absolute zero, because we've just reset it. Quite simple. I need to get the point clip out of there. Now this is N-gauge. So this would have been a lot easier before I put the track down, because the clip's underneath the throw bar here. On double O you can still do this when they're in place, but there is a little tiny bit of the spring there. You can just see it, push it forward, and as you can see, that now is nice and loose. That's good. So you get your point motor, and what I've done, because I've got a foam baseboard, is I quite simply just tack this in place with some little gold pins, which of course have vanished from the area. Wait a minute, here they are, they're over here. You can buy them separately. Now this is a little green bag, and in there you've got a little tiny clip. This is the one that I'm using for this particular setup, because it's the right height, the right shape, the right size, if you will, for mounting the point motor without actually having any track bed in place. So it's going straight onto the baseboard as it were. So this little end here, the looped hooked end, goes into the brass bit, and the little bit there goes into the throw bar thus. Alright, so back to it then. So I've got my desired, for lack of a better word, extension clip. These are very tiny, by the way, so these will fling off if you pin them the wrong way. I always find it easier to put them into the point first rather than the point motor first. All I'm going to do is just snip off the little nipple on the end, put that in there. There we are. And then a little bit of fiddling, so you're not going to be able to see this, but I'm just going to put the end of that into the brass collet. So of course my hands are in the way, so you know. There we are. That's in there. You can see it moving there, can't you? I've just realised I've used the wrong springs. I should have used green ones for this and I haven't. I've used orange. So you can see how the point motor is flipping up. That's because I've used the wrong type spring. So after all that, I've got to take it out and put the right one in. Oh well, never mind. Using the correct green ones, as you can see, that's a lot better. So what you do now is, because we know the point motor has already been reset, so to speak, just gently push it forward so the far rail is touching the stock rail with a, not so much press that you snap everything, but you want it to be making good contact so there's no free play or slack, as it were. Then you take your pins, and this is the way that I've done it, but you know, if you're using a proper mounting system into baseboard or whatever, you can use the screws, but again, don't do them too tightly. The motor has to have a little bit, and I do mean just a little bit of free play, otherwise it just won't work properly. And you'll hear it because it'll make an awful grinding sound. So these are just going in just a little bit, just to hold the motor in place. Okay, that's good. We then take our extension lead, plug her in, power on, go to points, and 001. And if we just watch here, we'll throw that once. Now, you hear that? There you go, that means it was trying to push it forward. But I closed it, threw it the other way, and it's pulled it back. Fine now. Throw it again. There we are, lovely. Lovely job. But that looks absolutely fine to me. And that's it, that's done. That's in place, that's mounted. And you just repeat that process for all the other ones. Now eventually, you're going to have to assign each one of these point motors its own little control board, which is absolutely fine. You just drill holes and put this through the baseboard, and then you're away basically. And that's it. It's not a difficult process at all. So what I'm going to do now for the rest of today, not so say for the next hour or so, is get the rest of the point control boards, which I have over here. And I'm going to connect them all up, give them all an address. Setting the address is easy. You've got the set button there, flip it to set, get your point motor, and then you literally just tell it what address it is by typing in 101, 102, throw it, set it back to run, and then it works. It's really simple. Right, okay, let's crack on and get all the rest of these point motors installed. Right, so it's a couple of days later now. I have developed a cold or cough chest infection thing, which I've been developing for a while, and that's fully progressed nicely. We have got all the Cobalt SS point motors installed that I'm going to install. Essentially linked up the front two motors, so you have the first motor there and the second motor there, which control access to the loop, the passing loop, which controls access to the goods yard, and then the modern image side virtual quarry. I've connected, labelled, should I say, numbered, addressed the front 2 points to address 3. I've done the same with the rear points on the rear loop, which will be hidden as you can see there. We've got trains parked in there. It's going to be like a fiddler yard, storage yard as such, but Quite simple. To throw both of them, I'll just press address 3 and they both change. And you can see now that I've done that, look down there, there's 2 LEDs. If I press address 3 again, one of them lights up. If I press address 4, the back ones change, LED lights up, press it again, and it goes out. That's just so I know, just by looking at LEDs, which route is set, which engage and things. Cobalt SS point motors, they're not the easiest things to set up. If you're used to the IP digitals, then there is a few more steps you need to take. Like I said to you earlier in the video, it does pay dividends to have the control board on top of the layout so you can adjust the throw rather than crawling around underneath the layout. Do not have the throw set too harsh because that can actually create binding, because what will happen is the check rail will go across to the stock rail and it'll touch it, it'll buff up against it, keep going, you have the grinding noise, and that can cause it to not lock up, well I suppose lock up, bind if you will. So when it tries to throw back the other way, it has to get itself going again, and that can again throw out the whole throw ratio. So make sure when you throw the check rail, I keep saying check rail, is it the right rail? I don't know. When you throw your points, make sure when they hit the stock rail that they don't keep pressing against them, otherwise you're going to cause more problems. Anyway, that's enough of that nonsense. It's all turned out very well. I'm going to have a chat now about what's been going on this week in model railways. Right then, so there's a few things on my mind this week, as there always is. I think the biggest thing to really drop is going to be the Accurascale announcement that they're now extending the warranties of all their products to that of a lifetime warranty. And I know a few people have been a little bit sceptical. They've heard that and they've seen online that people have perhaps not had the desired result they've wanted from a warranty claim, and it's not just with Accurascale, from with anybody. And I think a lot of that comes down to misunderstanding what warranty means. Warranty means a manufacturer's default, not because you've broken at home. Two separate things. These are delicate models and they will not withstand you picking them up and dropping them on the floor. That's not a warranty issue. You honestly think if you break a model from your own stupidity that should be covered under warranty, then more fool you. That ain't the case. Now if you dig deeper and look on the terms and conditions of the lifetime warranty that Accurascale are offering, you will see loads of clauses saying that you're not allowed to. Terms and conditions say that if you modify the appearance of your model, if you service it by someone that isn't approved by Accurascale, that will also invalidate your warranty. But that is all standard warranty jargon anyway, and you'll find similar things with other manufacturers' warranty terms and conditions. The only thing they've changed and made different is they've extended the time period of the warranty. And I think it's a bloody good gesture. We're always whinging these days about things going wrong, prices going up and everything else, bits dropping off on models. How nice is it to know that there's actually a manufacturer out there willing to properly stand by their models in terms of manufacturing defaults. Now I know DCC Concepts have offered lifetime warranties on a lot of their products before. The point motors, for example, I use these because I know that if they go wrong, DCC Concepts will go, here you go, have another one under warranty, and it's as simple as that. I know that Accurascale will, based on my own experiences when I've had to send my models back, they always come through. Sometimes takes a minute because don't get me wrong, they don't wait on me or anyone else hand and foot. I am not the only person out there that has warranty issues. But when you do, you get looked after and it gets sorted out. Now there's always going to be one or two people that go, well, he didn't look after me and I never have. You always get the whingers, alright fine. But they're the sort of people that will open a locomotive with a hammer and a chisel and go, it's chipped the paint off. You not understand it? It's your fault you've broken it. It's not theirs. Okay? Yes, some issues will arise, but it's fine. Because if your motor does burn out after 3 years, they will give you a new one. If your lights or your LEDs pop, they will give you a new one. They will probably even give you a decoder if your decoder pops as a gesture of goodwill, and they will do that because it is in their best interest to do it. If they start saying no to people left, right, centre for little things like decoders popping, they'll be in a bad place, and they understand that, they know that. And they know what they hope that you know that as well. Look at what happened with Charlie's, mate, a few weeks ago. Now, you might say that because it's Charlie, it's high profile, and there's lots of eyes on it, okay, whatever. Let's take that away from the situation for a minute. Accurascale gave the guy a new sound recorder. That's 120 quid part to me and you, and they just gave him one. Gesture of goodwill, whatever label you want to put on it, that is where we need to be. It benefits absolutely no one when you start nitpicking and pulling at straws and going, well, you can't retain it because you've done this, you've done that, you've done the other. Let's be sensible, look at the situation from outside the box, observe it fully, and go, right, let's look at this situation. You've damaged your model, you've picked it up, you've tried taking the keeper plate off, and you've bent a cog. And that has caused your motor to strain out, and it's bent that motor. So it's your fault. However, we are going to sort it out for you anyway, because that's what we do. Of course, you can go online and find page after page after page of issues people have had with their Accurascale models, their KR models, Dapol models, Hornby, Batman, whatever. But you'll also find, if you look hard enough, the resolutions to those problems. 9 times out of 10, it's always a positive one. So do bear that in mind. Question is it going to inspire and spark other manufacturers to follow suit and think, well, actually, if Accurascale are doing it, I think we should do it as well. I mean, you've got to play the long game, haven't you, really? You think about it, your competitors are doing something like that, you have to catch up at some point. It might not be today or tomorrow, but Hornby really want to consider doing this. Batman certainly should do. Not about the reliability of your products, it's about standing by them. And that's the main thing. What does it say more to you? Who's got more faith in their products? The guys that are only willing to warranty it for 12 months and go, it's yours? Or the guys that go, do you know what, as long as you've got it and you've bought it and you're the original owner and you've done your best with it, we'll warranty you for life, we'll look after you. I know when I'd rather go. Now, I don't do as much double low gauge modelling anymore, so I'm downsizing a lot, so I'm actually selling a lot of my Accurascale stock. That's not because there's a problem with it, it's just because I don't have anywhere to run it anymore. It's fortunate, but that's how it is. Hopefully Accurascale will make the jump to end scale, so I can have a little bit more of their stuff to play with, because it is good gear. What do you think though? Are you sold on the idea of a true lifetime warranty, or do you think it's just a gimmick to try and get more people in? I personally don't, but I know my opinion isn't the only one out there. That's just me, and I think it's a good thing. It can't be anything other than a good thing. Now, speaking of good things, we have reached 2,000 subscribers on this channel, and a few weeks ago I said I was going to do a little giveaway, and that is today. So, nice and clear, listen up. All you have to do to enter is send an email to ironhorserailways@gmail.com with the title Giveaway 2024. All you've got to do, and in the body, you just need to write, and that is just tell me how long you've been subscribed to the channel and how you found the channel. That's it. But I must stress, guys, entries will only count if they're emailed in. If you leave your answer in the comments, you will not be entered. Now, you can find the email address and a copy of the rules, if you will, description box down below. Send it in, there you go. You will have a week to enter, and the winner will be announced a week after. The prize is going to be a gift voucher for DCC Concepts, and put that towards anything you want. The amount is going to be £25. I'm paying for that out of my own money. DCC Concepts haven't given me it as a thing. I'm going to fork out. I know it's not a lot, but it's better than nothing, and I don't really have a lot to give, but I'm going to give what I can. Just so busy at the minute with work, the channel, personal life. I don't even have time to do weathering anymore, which is a bit sad really, because I used to love doing the weathering, but I've had to turn down so many commissions recently just because I've got so much on in other areas of my life. I don't have the time to do it. So there we are. Also, guys, I'm going to be at the Keighley Model Railway Club exhibition in March. Check out the details below. I'll have a bit more information for you later on. I'm going to be with Jenny from the Jenny Kate channel, and we're going to have a little blast run around and filming on the layouts and fiddling with the trade stands and what have you. So if you're in Keighley or fancy a drive up, come and see us. I won't be at Doncaster, and it's not from not wanting to go. I just can't justify the fact that it's going to cost me about 240 quid before I spent a penny of my own money. And I mean, the entry price for the tickets is only 15 quid, which is very reasonable. That's fine, but it's the £120 hotel for the 2 nights to see the full show, and you do need 2 nights to see it. And then you've got to look at travel costs, which are between, depending if you get the train or taxis or if you ride or get a car, between 40 and 60 quid. You see how it adds up? That's the problem with going to big shows at a distance. Anyway, I digress. Let me know what you think in the comment, guys. Don't forget, enter that competition, ironhorserailways@gmail.com. Let me know how you heard the channel and how long you've been subscribed for. That's all you got to do. I will announce the winner next week. I'm going to pick a winner at random. You'll see, I'll record it on my phone. I'm just going to and find who's won it, and then I'll announce the winner next week, and then you'll have the gift voucher made out to you in your name. Right, I'm off now to go play my trains. Take care. I'll see you later. Bye bye.